Hi, I'm Lorianna Harrison with DLP Marketing, and today I've got with me Steve Ryder of the Builder Trade-In Program. Welcome back. We're really excited. We are now in 2019, and gosh, what a big year 2018 was. There's so many times that we'll get questions from builders, and I think one of the biggest questions that we get on a regular basis is about driving traffic, and really, what does that look like? For us, driving traffic really means getting people into the models, because that is where you've got feet in the doors and you give the builder and the salespeople the opportunity to convert. So we'll do builder events oftentimes to do that.
So let me ask you a question, if I may, because I have a couple different ways that I'd like to have you answer this. As you well know, the Builder Trade-In company is nationwide, right? And in different markets, we have various needs. So if we had a need, if we are going to try and close out a community, it's been open for maybe a year, maybe a year and a half, it's kind of got, a little tired, and they have maybe 10, 15 houses they want to get rid of. How would you drive traffic for a closeout? Because I think each one might be a little different strategy.
Absolutely, and I like that. Thanks, Steve. Builder closeout to me is a really big deal, and kind of the momentum, sometimes it's like we naturally move on to the next thing, right? And that has to happen with land acquisition. It has to happen with the plans and getting communities prepped and ready for everything else. So resources within the builder start to shift.
Correct.
And what we love to do is pump up the enthusiasm and the passion to get through those last 15. Let's just say that pro forma, was 2 per month, and we've got, that's 7 months, right? We've got
trying to get those last guys off the market. Right?
And sometimes builders will they'll close out, they'll sell a model, and they'll say, all right, well, we're going to sell from now, instead of 2 or 3 models, we're going to sell from only 1 floor plan. And we are going to reduce our resources in that way. And they might go from 2 salespeople to 1 salesperson. And they will also sometimes take their foot off of the accelerator on marketing and advertising. And the way that we look at it, and also in our expert opinion, what we've seen happen with case studies and time again is that's when we actually need to hit it the hardest.
Put the gas.
Yes.
Right.
We say only 15 units remaining, come and take a look. And I understand there's business reasons for closing down a couple of the models, but we've got to have something to show the quality of what the builder is doing. And so what we like to do for builder closeout is do builder events. And one of the builder events that we can do there, talk about the 15 units remaining, and we use traditional and digital strategies to drive foot traffic, because they're in MLS.
Right.
The agents have been able to see them. We've hopefully gotten pretty good price appreciation as the community has gone on over time. Correct. And so what we want is to really give people the reason to come and walk through the models. And so we always believe that we have to touch consumers. It cannot just be an agent-based campaign series.
Right.
Hey, let's do a broker open and get agents in here. We've got to do both. We always want to have the public. And so one of the ways that we like to do those kinds of, to drive the traffic for an event is with a local magazine or newspaper.
Right.
And I imagine you're like me, you still like the tactile, newspaper, etc. I do as well. And we find that that's a great place to utilize on a per event basis, print and digital. And then we also will send out direct mail. That can be to a targeted list, maybe one that the builder has used throughout. And definitely we want to touch all of the people that are on the interest list that just haven't moved yet.
Right.
Right?
It's interesting you say that, because we have the same issues. When we're working with the Builder Trade-In program, you get to the end of the community and the builder says, okay, so time out. We're going to change our strategy. The strategy that's worked for the last year and a half.
They've got you to pro forma.
Right, where if a person had a house to sell, we helped sell that house and they bought and closed on the new one. But now that we're getting to the closeout phase, they want to close in 30 days because the homes are typically constructed and they say no contingencies. And we can still get that house sold in a week or two or three and close it 30 days later.
Absolutely.
So same with you, right?
Yes.
Instead of taking the foot off the gas, you got to put your foot on the gas.
Absolutely, because let's talk about the flip side. What do the concessions end up being, right? No contingencies. So now the pool just went from this big to this big.
Yep.
You've got either new buyers who, they're new buyers, or they've been renting for a long time. It's just a completely different audience.
Right. If you have a renter, a lot of times they'll be locked in a lease. And again, the builder will say, sorry, it doesn't work. You can't buy our home. And yet they forget that we have a lease buyout.
Yes.
And we can close that home in 30 days. So we have similar issues. And I think the real point here is you're very good at your job. And we're very good at our job. And that's when we all need to work together, is at a closeout. So let's flip it around.
Okay.
Let's say, could you start from the very beginning, from concept, naming, coming up with maybe a mission statement, and then a launch? Do you do Dusty Shoe? Kind of walk me through that if you would.
I love both sides. I love helping with closeout, but there is something magical about a piece of raw land. And when a builder calls us...
I can see it in your face. You just lit up like a firecracker. She's so excited.
It is so fun. They're like, hey, it's here over at the 303 and the 10, and we just got this new piece of land, and it's called Track Day, and here's a little bit of history on it. Maybe Nathan and Associates
right.
Got something
God
to get
bless
those...
Nate, right?
Right?
But
yes.
It's Track A, and that's not real sexy.
No, nobody wants to hear that. And there's all the fun that goes into research. What did that land used to be? Here we are.
Give me a for instance.
Well, for instance, so we've got AV Homes over at Sunlea.
Okay.
And it was so much fun to work with them on the naming conventions for that community. So that actually, I believe it used to be a shooting range. And so we kind of start with, okay, what did this used to be? For Keystone, Eastwood. That actually used to be like an old Hollywood kind of... like theater type area,
right.
When they bought that land. And so we'll research with Sunlea. The research that we did, it was not proper for a naming convention, right? We don't want to name something.
Shoot that house.
It wasn't really going to translate exactly,
right.
Unless you're going Woody from, Toy Story or something like that. So with Keystone, we went and we wanted to embrace that old Hollywood feel. And so that's where the name Eastwood came from, like Clint Eastwood.
Right.
And then we named the floor plans. So one's like the Harry, one, Dirty Harry, and those types of things.
Right.
And it's just so much fun. We created the logo there at both of these communities. But with Sunlea, we literally created a new word to mean sun and relaxation. And so we put kind of the Latin terms together to create that. And that is just, it's so much
pretty
fun.
Creative.
A day in the life of a marketing firm, right? So that's a lot of fun. And then from that point, right, we've named the parcel of land. We've got an identity, the brand, and the logo. From then, we start the campaign to let people know about the community. So that is
public awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
That is equally just as much fun. And, a lot of times, well, always we recommend it's got to be Facebook. It's got to be Instagram. You've got to be on Google. GPS can't find the streets for any new community.
Especially when they're launching.
Yes. It doesn't exist. And good grief, sometimes you can get halfway through a community and still, you're given directions to the model homes because the streets there are not there on Google. So we always believe in the trifecta. You've got to touch all of those. And
would you put in a pay-per-click too?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, because if
Doesn't that help you focus and target on a specific audience?
well, what we do with Google AdWords or pay-per-click is that we're able to be visible for people who are already looking for us. You know, if we talk about Carefree with like the, Eastwood, if somebody is coming in this month, January, I think we've got 2 remaining there. But if they're in this month and they came for Barrett-Jackson and they're like, gosh, oh my goodness, it's sunny out.
I love this place.
Yes,
I love the fact that it's not 10 degrees below and I'm in the snow.
Yes, I'm not shoveling that. Yeah, imagine life here. And so they drive around and they are like, wow, I went and had, lunch up here in Cave Creek and it's beautiful, carefree area. What could I find? Is there a home that would work for me? Google will oftentimes be a place where someone who doesn't know anything about that particular
where
area.
are new homes in Carefree,
Yes.
or would ask Siri or Google or whatever, and that's how they find you.
Yes, and those people are already in the sales funnel, right? Because they are actively looking for us. And so we, in my opinion, we always have to do a Google AdWords PPC campaign. That search engine marketing is so important for visibility because how we're talking about GPS and the streets not showing up.
Right.
That page of that website for that community, it sure as heck isn't showing up organically without a campaign, that sprint, right, of providing that visibility with a paid campaign.
And then how do you stay top of mind?
Oh, that's a
Is that
great...
like, I heard there's some sort of target or some retargeting?
Yes.
How does that work?
Yes, and the retargeting, it's so impactful because people who have already visited the website, maybe they weren't ready to purchase at that time. They came out for Barrett-Jackson and then they went home for a little bit and they said, you know what, that's it. I got to come back. I got to go to the Waste Management Open.
Right,
see
they're
what
back.
all the hoopla is about. And then they've been retargeted while they were back in Minnesota. And it was really, really cold. And they're like, oh, that's right. You know what? We do need to go back to that community and see what, walk through the models again or walk through the models this time and see. The top of mind is really, really important from a digital standpoint as well as from traditional media.
Okay, so we've talked about closing out a community. We've talked about launching all the way from the name and the feel and the message and then the subsequent launch. What else? Give me another event that we would be possibly doing.
Well, the grand opening to me, it's a big deal. And I don't mean that it's not just a formality. Like we have to have a grand opening for a community because it's a formality.
Right.
To me, it is actually the way that you let people know in the surrounding area. Oftentimes, they see the construction going in.
Right, they're already inquisitive, you bet.
Yes. So, even looking at when we're talking about removing contingencies and on that side, you've got people, let's just say, that have been living in a home and it's 10, 20, 30 years old. They love it, but they're also ready to not have, they don't want the maintenance issues anymore, and they're ready to trade in and move up or, right size or whatever we want to call. We have to reach out to those people for a grand opening. So we definitely want to do every door direct mail, touch those people. Also, but depending on if it's a entry level, first time buyer type demographic, we purchase lists and mail out based on the criteria. So it doesn't have to be, but it can be renters for that product, just depending on what it is. And the most important thing is to use the traditional and digital strategies to actually get foot traffic into the models. People want that tactile experience. And I love photography. I love all of the modern technology that we've got and, these 3D virtual tours.
Right.
Great. Awesome. It's wonderful for people who are...
They want to go touch it, feel it, walk through it, experience it.
Tactile experience. And it's difficult sometimes. We were just talking about views before we got on camera today. sometimes it's very difficult to have those views or ceiling heights
Correct.
translate
Right.
that grand entry feeling that you get until you do that. And then, I mean, goodness, we could talk for days and days about the merchandising experience or how all of the model came together for that unique experience. And I truly, well, as you can see, I'm passionate about it, but we also go to all of our builder events to hear what the feedback is.
Right.
And loop back and let our builders know what that experience is like. And it is so exciting to kind of be a fly on the wall, right? Because I mean, the VP of marketing, the president of, whatever builder it is probably not going to be able to be a fly on a wall at their own grand opening. Me, I am navigating through those spaces. I'm picking up on what people are saying, and it really helps inform the salespeople as well as the upper echelon to know just feedback on the community, and that can be on price points or merchandising.
Cleanliness, lots. I mean, there's a lot of, we've both been involved in this for quite some time, right? And as we've evolved from the 80s and the 90s, and we had such big booms, one of the interesting thing you mentioned about houses and remodel, back in the 90s, we touted a 30-year lifetime roof. Well, 30-year and lifetime are not the same. And here it is 30 years later, and that's not a lifetime. And people are replacing tile roofs, the laminate underneath.
Really?
And that's $20,000. Somewhere between $10,000 to $20,000. And you could be buying a brand new home with all the energy efficient features, with all the modern technology, with the features and benefits that is for today's lifestyle.
And the warranties.
And quite candidly, new homes appreciate much faster than resale. If you see a super boom in the resale market, well, just count on this one went up. For every $1 you gain in the resale, you gain $3 in the new home.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking for an investment, new homes is really where it's at.
It really is. It is really fun to work in this industry and get to see the lives that get touched by what it is that we get to do every single day. Well, Steve, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. Please let us know, give us comments, feedback, etc. on what you'd like to hear us talk about next time. Steve, any last parting thoughts on builder trade-in and contingencies that we can leave folks with?
Well, as we continue to work together, there's two things I'd like to say. Number one, technology is changing every day. As we continue to work together, we're blending two wonderful strategies, my experience in the field and her experience in marketing. So watch for our technology that we're developing on a regular basis. And there's a little bit of a shifting market, but it's not everywhere. So stay tuned so we can let you know where the market is shifting and where it's not.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
My
Steve
pleasure.
Ryder, Builder Trade-In Program, Loriana Harrison, DLP Marketing, and we'll see you next time.